By now, if you've been listening to our podcast, you know what that sound means. But I understood the concept with the match with Goldust.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like I'm still confused as to why we're feuding with Finn Balor. I thought the whole part of the Demon King coming would rectify everything at SummerSlam.
And you know what? What I found out from watching Wrestle Talk TV on YouTube is that the idea was after Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt, he was supposed to feud with Samoa Joe. But as we know, Samoa Joe hasn't been on Raw lately because he actually got an injury at one of the live shows. So I guess they felt like, well, I guess we'll just continue this, and which, like I said, I don't like the continuation of it. It's making it really stale to me. But I guess I kind of understand the angle of saying, all right, you beat me as the Demon King. Now, can you beat me as the man? But think about it.
They already fought.
But Bray Wyatt won.
Bray Wyatt won the first fight. He wasn't the Demon King.
Right.
But now they're building this match as Bray Wyatt versus the man Finn Balor. He's already fought the man Finn Balor,
and he beat him.
So
now that's the only reason I can understand it, because he's like, I want you to fight me as a man, because to Bray, I can beat you. But now he wants to do it because that's the only way Bray knows he can win. So it's like now Finn Balor has to show that I can beat you as
without
Finn Balor.
The demon.
Exactly. So
I guess I can see
I don't like the story. Mm-hmm. I really don't. But I do understand what he's saying. And I didn't like this match either with Goldust, but I understood the gimmick of the storyline by saying that he's another person who hides behind the paint. Mm-hmm. And so, but I
wiping the paint off his face after the match. He's just a man. He's just a man.
Yeah, I didn't really like this. I feel like I said, this is still just a filler story until Samoa Joe comes back.
Yeah, so. It is. I mean, it's people will watch it and it'll be because they had a pretty decent match both times. But I'm just kind of like, we already seen him beat the man, but I guess I never thought of it the way you just explained it, as Finn's got to get that win against him as Finn, instead of accessing the Demon King. So I guess I could see that.
Yeah, I feel like a better filler feud for Finn Balor while he's waiting on Samoa Joe was to put him in the Intercontinental match.
He does
put him against the Miz.
And I even said too, like, even with Goldust, like, I know he's old in his career. You remember back in the 90s, Goldust used to hold the Intercontinental Championship a long time too. And I think him and the Miz should have had some kind of feud, even though he probably wouldn't beat the Miz. But the Miz is all about the spotlight, and so is Goldust.
That would
have those two egos, go at each other. Since the Miz is considered as one of the better IC champions, going up against an Intercontinental champion of the past,
right?
Could really show that, hey, I'm the future, you're the past. Goldust wants a spotlight, he wants a spotlight. But
yeah, so.
But that's just something that could have come of that. Because really, right now we know the R-Truths, the Kalistos, the Apollo Cruzes, all these other little filler people. That's just all they're there for.
Which Apollo Cruz is really disappointing. Like, I really like him. He had an excellent skill set. He had a whole bunch of moves, but they just aren't using them. That's just really sad.
Titus catering, man.
Yeah. Then Titus, they stopped using Titus after the little tag team with him and Darren Young. Of course, Darren Young got injured too. Mm-hmm. But I like Titus O'Neil. Like, and he actually had
people feuding for IC title, especially Apollo Crews. Him and the Miz had a couple of matches in the past, but I guess I don't know if they made us watch the Miz and Dean Ambrose again, because they were feuding on SmackDown
and took it to Raw.
So why not have him at least have a couple of matches with the Miz? Because each week now the Intercontinental title is just looking like a prop, but it's just on his shoulder for show. He's not really in an active feud with anyone, as we saw this week. So where else you want to go with Raw as we move forward?
I'm not really even going to talk much about this match, because this was just, it wasn't a match actually. It was a setup for the 8-man, but the whole Sheamus and Cesaro,
the brawl,
supposed to fight Gallows and Anderson, but Rollins, they beat up Rollins and Ambrose first. So I mean, that wasn't much to talk about. I mean, we'll get back into that.
But we did know, like, when Kurt Angle say find your partner, who else is there? But
what other tag team is there?
It's not a surprise they chose the Hardys to.
They weren't going to put Roman Reigns and make it a handicap tag match, 7-on-8. So
we knew the Hardys would be a part of it. The Hardys did look more broken again.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, they're really leading to
they're
it. They're
getting into it, and then it looks like, as the questions we were asking a couple of weeks ago, would that feud continue with the Miz and Jeff Hardy? Looking like maybe not, because they put them back together for this 8-man tag. They didn't continue anything from last week.
So I wonder, when they finally become woken, would they allow them to run back for the championship? Because right now it's just been Sheamus and Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
So
it could be. I guess this is a way to try to use all the tag teams again, because instead of just focusing on Rollins, Ambrose, and Sheamus and Cesaro, maybe trying to give these other guys some airtime.
Definitely
to do some things.
Because I'm actually glad to see Gallows and Anderson back, because I almost actually forgot about them.
And to see them come back in so long,
and they see them come back, and I really like their dynamic as a tag team. I really like their heel tag faction. Their heel tag faction is more believable to me than Sheamus and Cesaro. Like, Sheamus and Cesaro is just in the middle of being good guy, bad guy. So, and one thing I wanted to say, when they did a promo, did you notice, to me, it felt like Cesaro had a new accent. Like,
I didn't pick up on it.
Yeah, like, to me, like, it just how he said it just sounded totally different. Like, for the last few times that you don't really hear Cesaro talk much often, but when it did, he seems more like American. He has a basic talk, but when they did a promo with him Monday, he sounded like he was trying to put his is he Russian or whatever he is?
He's Swiss.
Swiss Superman. So it sounded like he was trying to bring that more foreign accent into his voice again, and I was like, is this Cesaro? Like,
I saw them talking, but then Sheamus was saying what he was saying. I was listening to them, but it was just, to me, like noise in the background. I didn't really pick up on what they was talking. I understood like what they were talking about, but I wouldn't really focus on listening. But I'll probably be looking for it next week if he talks again next week. I'll be looking into that. So we did see the tag team brawl there. We'll get more back into that a little bit later. I'm gonna hit back on the Asuka promo right quick, because we learned that she's going to be on Raw. That did put me in a great mood. As we hit on that. But the thing is, we did learn, I didn't like the way Raw put Nia Jackson and Alexa Bliss back together like they're friends again. Like, she just turned on you last week, but then the more they started talking, she was trying to get her back on her side. But I'm like, why are they hanging out together?
Right, they shouldn't even be in the same locker room.
Yeah, she turned on you a couple weeks ago.
To make it more believable, she should have found her like walking through the backstage.
Running across her, just as they're going and coming.
Right.
But then we found out too that, Nia Jax went to Kurt Angle and I guess asked for a match against Alexa Bliss, so we finally get to see
them fight
those two fighting. I still think it's gonna be a crazy finish to it. I don't think it'll be a believable match.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I felt like should have been a title match, should have been something held off for later. So I don't really like it, but I mean, it gives a one-on-one match, which we don't really see too much, except somebody fighting Emma. So it's like should be a good fight kind of situation.
It should, but maybe they should have made this a no disqualification match, because we know Alexa Bliss will go to any means necessary to get out of having to, when she feels someone is going to get the best of her, or she feels like I don't need to be a part of this, I'm too good for this. So maybe they should have put a stipulation on it or something. But I mean, that's something going into next week with that. Did you have anything?
That's it. I was about to say, you can go ahead and go to the next one.
Well, we did. The Strowman and Cena match, I thought this would be the main event.
I did too.
But then watching JD from NY206 on his Monday Night Raw review, he would say you do have to keep an account. They did have 2 football games on, and people probably was tuning in back and forth from the football game, so they wanted to put their best match on a little bit earlier.
That makes sense.
Because you notice when they put the match on, the Saints and Vikings game was just ending before we got into the Broncos and Chargers. So it was kind of like an intermission between.
Wow.
And then they brought out Cena and Strowman to go ahead, I guess, at that point where there's no football going on. Throw that match in there.
Some good thinking, WWE.
Yeah, so I was looking like, because he was like, JD from NY206 was like, they did it intentionally. Because I was like, why is this not the main event? Like, this is Cena versus Strowman. Like, this is the first time ever y'all like to build on that first time ever. So, but yeah. that's what that caught me off guard with it.
One of the main things I wanted to get on before we talk about the whole fight entirely was a moment they had between the match Strowman and Cena, where Cena tried to hit Braun with a drop kick, and he drop kicked them back.
Oh, that was a beautiful spot in that match. I was like, this dude does things that he's not supposed to do.
That was so awesome to me. Like I said, that was something else that pushed him over, just like early in the night when Brock Lesnar hit him with the German suplex and he rolled back up. That was good to see him just retaliate and just be like, this makes him look so much bigger. Like this, the more they let him do stuff like that, like moves not affecting him, that just makes his whole character just seem stronger and bigger than what he is.
You know what got me in this match too? I was actually on the phone with my dad while this match was on because he called me to ask me was I watching it, and I said, yeah, I'm looking at it. And the part where John Cena had Strowman, he was straining to pick him up, and he just it's like he just fell down. Like, my dad thought that was so funny. Like, he's like, you mean to tell me John Cena can pick up the Big Show and slam the Big Show with ease, but he can't pick up Braun Strowman. He's got to struggle with Braun Strowman. Yeah. But I did say in John Cena's defense, Strowman probably beat him down pretty rough to where his strength wasn't where it needed to be to lift, because he was like, he's like, oh, and he just like, man, I can't pick him up. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But I also did AA attempts in that match too. Since we like the debate about the finisher. Cena had 2 attempts. Okay. He hit 1 out of 2.
Okay.
He did get an AA on him, but I think Strowman kicked out.
He did. And one thing, which when I saw that the match was going to happen, I was getting worried about who was going to win and lose, because I felt like the loser, one person is going to look weaker through this match. And if Big Match John would have overcome Strowman, that would have knocked Strowman down from this dominant performance on Brock Lesnar. Which another thing to look at, when Cena fought Brock Lesnar one time, Brock Lesnar demolished John Cena. So if he were to overcome Strowman, that would have knocked out that little thing. But once again, that's something I don't think people pay attention to, the history on the fighters. But I'm glad that they made it a disqualification, even though they botched it, because Strowman hit him the steel chair, and the ref was just like, stop it, just don't do it again. And so it's like, no, that's over. Like,
as soon as he hit him with that stairs, the bell should have rung.
Yeah.
Because I was asking myself, I said, well, did I miss something? Did they make this a disqualification match?
That's what I thought.
Like, yeah.
And Corey Graves made him on. He was like, well, this isn't a disqualification. There's no disqualification, so.
And then you wait till he get in the ring and then slam him on the stairs. It's ding, 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 ding.
I have to do it now. So.
I'm like, at that point, when you saw him grab them stairs, you should have already knew what was coming.
Should have been moving towards the bell. Like, hey, y'all get ready. This
is coming. So, yeah, that confused me too. But then you brought up a match, because I wrote down some of the same things. Like how, Brock conquered Cena, and then you turn around and look at how, like, Cena's being handled by Braun Strowman. So you couldn't make either one of them lose the match, because both of them have to remain to look strong as they're building toward their own matches at No Mercy. Yeah. But I actually thought it was going to be some interference in the match. I thought either Reigns was going to come down. I thought Brock would come back down after what happened to him earlier. Yeah. I thought maybe he would just move John Cena out the way just to get back to Strowman, and then have everybody come out and separate him again like they did the last time.
Either one of those would actually been pretty good to
watch.
I
thought it was going to be some interference that way, but they let him fight it to the DQ. But it was just like, I like how they're crossing these rivalries, like you were saying earlier about how Reigns looked against Brock, but then how Cena is looked against Brock. Then you look at how Cena looked against Strowman versus how Reigns looked against Strowman. So it is making it look like Roman Reigns is the stronger guy to try to take those two big men down, because he's had a better showing against Braun Strowman, and then against Brock, Brock handled him, but in that championship match a couple of years ago at WrestleMania, he was coming back. He could never put him away. Right. He kept getting up, and he was actually getting suplexed and laughing at the same time.
And he got F5 twice, I think. Mm-hmm. I'm not totally sure on it.
So it could be a way that they're doing that. But I do notice that too. Like, maybe a lot of people don't reflect back on previous matches between these other
Right.